Hi, folks. This is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report. Well, I just called my buddy Dave. Before I wanted to talk to you, I wanted to talk to my buddy Dave about something that has really been not gnawing at me, but something that I wanted to share with all of you. And that is, after a year of fishing, what can I take away? What is the biggest thing I can take away and tell you, but also tell myself about this year's fishing? So I wanted to ask Dave the same thing. Dave, tell me, what did you learn this year about fishing that it is the most poignant, the most powerful thing that you've taken away from the time you spent? Now, Dave is on Cayuga Lake. His fishing is totally different than mine. And I thought, well, he's going to have to think about that because here I'm just calling him and saying, tell me. But it didn't take him long. And he said, I got to tell you, I think the thing that I've found is that there's more lake trout in this lake. He's on Cayuga Lake. More lake trout than I would have ever dreamed. Okay, so is that something I really wanted to tell all of you? That's probably not all that interesting. But what's interesting is that he's using technology. He's using screens to tell him where these fish are and to also tell him how these fish react. So Dave goes out and he told me, he said, I found that almost any place where I could find 100 feet of water, there were fish. There were lake trout there, no matter what. And what he would do when he'd find 100 feet of water is drop his jig, his soft plastic or bucket, whatever he's using, jig, all the way down to the bottom. He'd watch it through his screens as it go down. And he said, maybe I'd raise it a couple times and nothing. And then on the third time I was raising it, I saw a fish. A fish had come over to look at it. And so, number one, what this taught him, by using technology, it taught him that there were far more fish around than he thought. There were fish in areas that he used to fish and think there's nothing here, so he would leave. And also that it didn't take them long to decide whether they wanted to bite or not bite, or eat or not eat, however you want to phrase it. So he'd say, the first time he'd see the fish coming and they'd follow it up. And they might follow it 30 feet up in the water, and then they'd stop and go back down. The next time they'd come over to it again. They might follow only 10 feet. The next time, same spot, because he has a lock hold on his trolling motor that keeps him right in the same spot. The next time, nothing. Fish were still there, but they didn't come up again. So it showed him something about behavior, something about the numbers of fish that were there. And here's the final important thing about that, is it taught him, he said, to be more persistent. I became more energized, more excited because I was able to see that the fish were there. I was able to see what they would do. And it made me stay longer and keep trying, where in the past I would have given up. Because if they didn't hit it, let's say on the third or fourth time, I knew there were fish down there. So I would change colors. I would change sizes. And then all the intrigue that comes with playing chess. Dave was playing chess with those lake trout. And sometimes he would win, and sometimes he would lose. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report.